Rosa Parks and the Bus to Freedom, Chapter 10. Rosa and her allies came up with a dramatic idea. To protest Rosa's arrest and the laws about segregated buses, they would ask the black people of Montgomery to boycott, refuse to use the city buses the following Monday, the day of Rosa's trial. Many more black people than white people used the city buses. If the black people didn't ride, the buses would be nearly empty. The idea spread like wildfire. Volunteers printed thousands of leaflets that told about Rosa's arrest. The leaflets were taken door to door in the black community. They ended with a request, "Please stay off buses" on Monday. That Sunday morning, black preachers announced the boycott in their churches. One young preacher became especially involved in organizing the boycott. His name was Martin Luther King Jr. He was only 26 years old at the time. Dr. King was not a famous man. He was a newcomer to Montgomery, but as soon as he heard the story of Rosa Parks and her arrest, he threw himself wholeheartedly into her case. The people listened to Dr. King and the other preachers. They were fed up with being treated as second-class citizens. Many of them knew and respected Rosa and Parks, and on Monday morning, the buses in Montgomery had only a handful of riders. The now famous Montgomery bus boycott had begun. Rosa's trial took place that afternoon. The courtroom was packed. Hundreds of supporters stood outside. When Rosa arrived, she looked like a dignified lady she was. She had on a black dress with white collar and cuffs and a small black velvet hat. She wore white gloves and carried a black purse. Watching her small figure approach the courthouse, one young girl called out, "Oh, she's so sweet. They messed with the wrong one now." Rosa's trial lasted only 30 minutes. She was found guilty of breaking the segregation laws and fined $14. That was more than half of her weekly salary. Rosa's supporters were not upset about the victory. Everyone knew that she would be found guilty. They needed her to be found guilty. Now they could take her case out of Montgomery and all the way to the Supreme Court. That night, a meeting was held at the biggest black church in town. About 5,000 people showed up. They spilled out of the church and into the yard and parking lot. Loudspeakers had to be set up so everyone could hear. As Rosa sat nearby, Martin Luther King Jr. spoke to the crowd. In the rush of the day, Dr. King had almost no time to prepare a speech. Instead of relying on notes, he had to speak from his heart. This is part of what he said. "My friends, I want it to be known that we're going to work with grim and firm determination to gain justice on the buses in this city. And we are not wrong. We are not wrong in what we are doing. If we are wrong, then the Constitution of the United States is wrong. If we are wrong, then God Almighty is wrong. If we are wrong, justice is a lie. And we are determined in Montgomery to work and fight until justice runs down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream." When Dr. King finished speaking, the crowd rose to their feet and applauded for 15 minutes. They voted to continue the boycott for as long as it took to get justice. And this concludes part 1 of chapter 10 of Rosa Parks and the Bus to Freedom. Thank you.